There are two big financial decisions a regular person makes in their early 20s and 30s, and that's buying your first house and buying your first car. I live in DQ, so I won't tell you anything about buying a house, but I know a thing or two about buying your first car. The festive season is fast approaching, and people will be getting their 13th check. Some will be receiving a contract offer for their first job, so a lot of financial decisions will be made. So that's why in this video, I'll share with you some of the things you need to know before buying your first car. So welcome to Cars 24, and welcome to this video. Let's just give a moment of silence for people like myself who have prime-linked interest rates. When the news broke yesterday that they are going to increase the prime lending rate for the 100th time this year, I concluded that this is the worst time to buy anything through a bank. When I bought my Mazda earlier this year, the prime lending rate at that time was sitting at 7.50%. So I got 6.50% because of the prime minus 1% my bank offers. And 9 months later, the prime lending rate is sitting at 10.5%. It's safe to say, ziyakhala. A common reason why people decide to buy their own cars is because they are tired of using taxis, even myself included. When a taxi driver refused to give me back my change in a taxi, that's when I realized that my relationship with taxis is pelid. If you are planning on buying your first car, here are my first top 5 things I think you should consider doing first before signing that first contract. Number 1, getting your driver's license early. This sounds obvious, I know, but the reason why I started with this is because I've seen a lot of people getting their license and buying a car a week or a month later. Some even get both the same day, without actually realizing that their insurance premiums are going to be high. Now, you can get your license when you are at least 17 years, and most of you all at this age are either in grade 12 or doing their first year in university, unless your grade art teacher wasn't very fond of you. When you are looking for insurance, one of the first questions they are going to ask you is how old is your driver's license? They use this along with other things to calculate your risk. The newer your license, the higher your risk, and of course, higher premiums. So it's best to get your license as early as possible to avoid paying high insurance premium than you should. I didn't have my license until I was in my final year in university. When I bought my car, my license was only 2 months old, and when I was looking for insurance, the first offer they gave me was 5,000 and some change, with a ridiculous excess of 20,000. And I asked them, why is my insurance premium so high? I could pay for another car with this amount. The reasons they gave me was that my car cost $500,000, it's a sport car because it has a 2-liter engine and my license is new. And they assured me that my premium will decrease in every 6 months. 5,000 just for insurance. So on to number 2, which is getting your credit score up as early as you can. I'm sure someone has told you about a credit score. In simple terms, this is a numerical representation of your credit history. Lenders use this to see how trustworthy or, let's say, creditworthy you are. Depending on your credit score, they can decide whether they will borrow you money or not. And if they do decide to borrow you money, how much interest rates are they going to charge you? So to get a good rating, they need to see you borrowing money and paying it back on time. Basically, you need to get into debt and out of it within the specified time limit. People usually open a store account, buy clothes, and pay it back the following month. It's best to buy something you know you can pay it back immediately, and don't use this to find your lifestyle, because any missed payment will negatively affect your credit profile. This brings me on to number 3, which is budgeting. People just lose interest when you start talking about the 20% rule, but this rule is there to make sure that you don't overspend on a car. It simply implies that you should spend 20% or less of your monthly earnings on car repayment, which means if I'm earning 20,000 from whatever that I do, I should not spend more than 4,000 paying back my car. The cost of owning a car includes the monthly installment, insurance, and fuel cost as well. Personally, I say I shouldn't spend more than 20% of my earnings on both car repayment and insurance. I don't include fuel because I can park my car and use taxis, solving the fuel problem. I think we are a very fortunate generation living in times where information is everywhere. What people don't know is that you can actually calculate how much a car will cost you per month by using calculators on any bank website. And websites like cars.co and AutoTrade. They have calculators that give you the monthly cost of a car and how much interest you are going to pay over the contract duration. This is very helpful when budgeting because you can get an estimate of how much you could be paying per month for a particular car. I know budgeting is not easy, but trust me, it's very rewarding. Especially when you know you do afford comfortably anything online. That feeling is very satisfying. On to number 4, which is shortlisting. The reason I started with budgeting is because this gives you a rough estimate of how much you should be spending on a car and what type of cars you should be looking at. This thing of waking up on a Friday morning near VW Nibu and a poll, only to find out there's a 30% balloon inserted in your contract. It should stop. So depending on your budget, you should have a top 3 of cars on your shortlist, a top 5 maximum. Gather as much information as you can about these cars before moving on to my number 5, which is test driving. This is where you'll decide whether you like a car or not, because driving is what you are going to do with your car more often than just looking at its design. I liked the Peugeot 208, it was in my shortlist, but after the test drive, I realized it was too small for me. I felt squeezed. You literally rubbing shoulders with your passenger, so it was a no for me. The risk with this is that you'll be exposed to a salesperson, and if you don't know what you want or don't have an idea, they will eat you alive. Try to reveal as little information as you can about your project, because everything you say will be used against you. Those people are very good at the convincing game, so it's best to do a test drive and go home to consolidate your thoughts. You can even put earphones during the test drive if you want. You can do as many test drives as you can. This puts you at an advantage of comparing different cars for yourself, and not only relying on people's opinion like myself. And using this strategy, I'm sure you'll find the one that suits your needs and budget. Ukoshe indaba zama-dream cars. That is it from me today. I will share some extra car buying advice in future. If you have any additional information you would like to add, please share with us on the comment section below. Your experience and knowledge could help someone else. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. We will meet again on our next video. Until next time, peace.